It is not the police's job to protect citizens. At first thought might be, that's just silly. It's on the side of their cars. It's serve and protect. But I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. You being stabbed by an assailant, the cops are not legally obligated to do anything to help you. The Supreme Court should make the police legally obligated to protect citizens. While this is not to say that the police will not help a citizen if they are in danger, just that they don't have to legally. But just because of the law doesn't make it right. The cops don't have to save a citizen's life if they do not have a special duty to do so. This leads to distrust forming between citizens and the police, but the simple solution is to repeal the ruling or by law make it obligation for police members to help citizens in danger. By making the police legally obligated to help citizens in danger, a greater trust can be established between citizens and officers. Special ruling, as described in a 2005 Supreme Court ruling for the New York Times paper, the police do not have a constitutional duty to protect a person from harm. Special duty is a promise that a police officer makes to a citizen to protect their life. It's best described how this is a bad thing through stories. This first one comes from the YouTube channel Cracked and their video, Why the Cops Won't Help You If You're Being Stabbed. On a day in 2011 in New York, a man gets ready for work. He's a little late, so he misses the morning news, but hops on a subway nevertheless. Little does he know that he's going to be the final victim of a 23-hour stabbing spree. When he gets on his subway, he gets towards the front car, just behind the conductor, and another man comes onto the car with him and starts banging on the conductor's door. Two police are sitting inside with the conductor as protection, as they know that the stabber is in the area, and they're covering all routes. They have a short conversation with him, ask him who he is, but they've recognized him immediately. After the conversation, the assailant goes back and begins stabbing our man. He starts with stabbing him in the shoulder. The man then tackles the assailant to the ground, knocks the knife out of his hand, and pins him, all while the cops sit back in the conductor's car and watch. After the man has sufficiently pulled the assailant to the ground and pinned him, the cops then come out, arrest the assailant, and leave the victim lying on a subway car floor to bleed. Luckily, a fellow citizen helped him out by staunching his wounds with napkins and probably saving his life. After the man wakes up in the hospital and recovers, he attempts to sue the NYPD, but due to an earlier ruling, 2005 ruling, there was no special duty granted to him, so he has no case. The police officers, they did nothing wrong by sitting back and watching the man get stabbed. See, this comes from another story that on that ruling, the one that I described was the New York Times article, Justices rule police do not have a constitutional duty to protect someone. As described, for hours on a night in June 1999, a wife calls the police in an attempt to get her estranged husband arrested for breaking a protective order to keep him, so a restraining order to keep him from their house. The man does it anyway, kidnaps their 3 daughters, calls the wife and tells her that he's going to take them to an amusement park. Shortly after, the wife calls the police for several hours in an attempt to get an arrest made, but no action was taken. Hours later, the husband, comes into the police station, fires a gun, then the police act and shoot him. They later find their 3 daughters in the back of his trunk, all dead. This is why we need to change special duty. The reason for special duty existing is that it was established and it hasn't been changed since due to this sort of common with these sort of rulings. Think of the Gideon versus Wainwright case. where the man is he's arrested for a crime he didn't commit, and he wasn't given a lawyer, so he had to be his own lawyer, and then he's later put into prison where he reads up Newton's law and then reestablishes his case and has it legally obligated for you to be given a lawyer, the Miranda rights. See, and this resulted not only in his freedom, but also a lot of cases having to be reopened and retried. See, I think this is what's keeping special duty in place, is that if we repeal this, all these cases would have to be reopened, but that's just not a good enough excuse for me to not change special duty. The sad thing is that this is only an American thing, pretty much. See, countries in Europe, specifically Ireland, have their code of ethics for the Garda, their police force, and in the police code, it states that in carrying out our work, we expect the Garda to use the powers given to them in law to protect us, the citizens. So that everybody, all the other police officers, and more or less all of the other countries, have this sort of police obligation to protect citizens. So why can't America do it? And these aren't isolated stories either. There's a 1992 Firearms and Liberty paper written by Peter Kassler that's several more cases, the ones I've already described. Warren versus District of Columbia, Ballestieri versus Pacifica Police Department, and Zimmerman versus Birch, just to name a few. So in conclusion, police officers have no legal obligation to keep citizens safe. The simple solution is to repeal the past cases and establish this. This will lead to greater trust and protection of citizens. And then one last thing is how you guys can help. You can just make these stories known, or you can go out to any legal heads and let these stories known. Make sure that we're not going to let this just happen.